He's like love, 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 and music. La la la, love, 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 and music.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jay Lee. Yes, I'm moving the camera. I am Jay Lee. This is Jay Lee's Corner, and this is my review for Married to Medicine, Season 5, Episode 7, which came on today, which is Friday. It was a good episode, I can say that. I hope everyone is having a good start to the weekend. It's about to be Christmas. So, I hope everyone has a great holiday. I am off, as I said before, until the 2nd, and I am very, very excited about that. So, let's just get into this particular episode. I can't wait to move when I have a whole set of where I will be. You know what I'm saying? Can't wait till April. So the episode picks right up where the last one left off, and it's still with Dr. G, you know what I'm saying, and Quad having their disagreement, and Dr. G peeling off of his little not a PT Cruiser, Lord Jesus, his Mini Cooper. And I'm like, why they keep adding the sound of him peeling off? That man, does he peel off each time? Or y'all just trying to be petty? I don't know what one it is, but it's funny nonetheless. So, Quad is sitting at the table, and then she calls Simone. And when she calls Simone, she's like, I'm just at the dinner table alone. And she like, Quad, what's up? What's going on? Quad says how she was trying to talk to her husband about how she felt. And he basically got up and left her there and told her she was coming up with bullshit. Now, first of all, Quad ain't what he said. He asked you specifically, what do you need from me to make you feel loved and appreciated and all this stuff? And you couldn't answer the question. You told that man, let me go upstairs and get something I wrote 3 years ago so I can tell you. My thing is, when you having a conversation with the person you're with, I don't say your husband, the person you're with, and y'all trying to resolve a relationship issue, and they say, what's wrong? Like, tell me what's wrong. You should not have to go get what you wrote 3 years ago. Now, if you would have said, you know what, I wrote something down last night that I want to say, okay, I get that. That's last night. Bitch, 3 years ago, the pen you used probably ain't even got no more ink in it from 3 years ago. Girl, no, Jesus, no. So my thing is, when she told Simone, like he said that I was blowing smoke, what he said was, you can't even really answer the question because the only thing that you said to me was, you want me to call you, but I call you and you don't answer. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. So, Simone then says how, men and women speak differently, how men, and it's very true, men are literally from Mars, women are literally from Venus, and at times we are saying things and not getting what the other person is saying because they just saying it differently. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we as human beings have to hear things how we have to hear them. And if someone says, the sky is blue, if someone else says the sky is the color of like aqua, it's still blue. It just, you said it a completely different way. It just depends. She says, I just have a hole in my heart and I feel alone and empty in my marriage. So you was able to directly say something to Simone, but when your husband asked you the exact same question, you couldn't say that. Like, you couldn't say, like husband, I feel alone. I feel lonely. I feel, you know what I'm saying? I have a hole in my heart. I mean, he would have still asked you what you need me to do. You ain't had no answer. But at least it would have been a conversation. And sometimes within a conversation, it could become an argument. But the thing about it is, an argument and a conversation is both communication. And as someone said later on the episode, a little bit of communication is better than nothing. Okay? So, Simone was like, well, do you think he loves you? And she couldn't answer the question. She couldn't say yes, she felt like he still loves her. I think she might have said no. So Simone, she just said Quad says in her little confessional, I want someone who makes me feel completely adored. And, I want to have that tender love. Quad wants someone who puts her on a pedestal. And every woman deserves that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying she does not deserve that. What I'm saying is, you know how they had an 80-20 rule? I'm wondering if that's what was going on with Quad. Because for the first few years of her marriage, everything was fine. Like, it was no issues. And all of a sudden, here comes season 5, and he a horrible husband. He been a horrible husband. You done had stuff written out for 3 years. I'm confused. I'm like, is it that your husband don't give you the one or two things that you think or that you need, and so you kind of want to be out? You know what I'm saying? Because like, I want to feel completely adored. And I'm like, I mean, every woman wants that, but try to get that from your husband. But if that ain't the man you like, I feel like when you marry someone, you should know them. You know what I'm saying? So if you know that ain't how he show affection, you can't marry that person. And this is for men or women. You can't marry someone knowing who they are and expect them to change because you're married. You know what I'm saying? You can't marry a person who doesn't say, thank you, I love you every day of the week, or every day of the hour, or every day of the day, or every day of whatever. And then you be like, you know what? I need you to do this for me now. But they didn't do that before. The same way as a man can't expect a woman to out the blue become a whole different person because she's now his wife. You can't expect a husband to be a completely different person because he's your husband. If Greg ass ain't never took trash out, if he ain't never been the one to be vocal about things, and you married him despite of that, because I'm pretty sure you know what I'm saying? Because it don't seem like he's changed. It seems like Quad just don't like it no more. And if you don't like it, then leave. By all means. But my thing is, you can't be upset that a person isn't doing something they didn't do ever. Okay? So, you know, from there, you know, someone was asking, you know, have you done everything that you could do to, if everything in your power to, you know, get what you need in your marriage? And she said, you know, basically, I really had, you know, unless there's some new trick or gadget or counsel or something, I've done everything. I'm like, no, you haven't, because when your husband asks you, what could you do, your ass didn't answer the question, okay? But, you know, I feel like Quad is over her marriage. I do. I feel like give it another year, maybe 2. If they don't get it fixed within this year, they'll be divorced within another year. Is what I really do, and that's sad, but it's what I feel. But I feel like if Quad isn't happy, if she feels unloved, if she feels like Dr. G ain't doing whatever he's supposed to do for her, she, for all means, can divorce. But however, I'm feeling like, why not try to fix it first? Like, sometimes to fix it, you have to argue and yell and get it out. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes fixing it isn't going to be wrapped up in a tight, pretty bow. It ain't going to be like, you know what, Quad, you are 100% right. Let's just do it your way. And it ain't going to be, Dr. G, you 100% right. Let's do it your way. It's going to take some things. It's going to take some conflict, some resolution, some saving, some Jesus, some everything going into, you know what I'm saying? It's going to take work. And it's almost like Quad don't really want to work on it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Simone just tells her, you know, when you don't give up easily, you know, you're not, you know, giving up isn't in your nature. And then Quad said, well, neither is being a fool. And, you know, I get that. That's very, very true. Next we see Heavenly is meeting with her spiritual advisor. Now her spiritual advisor is Jewel Tankard, and I hate when I point that, it's so ghetto, but Jewel Tankard had their own show on Bravo as well. It was called The Tankers, Live with the something. Her husband, it was an old show. I think it was called Live with the Tankers, or Meeting the Tankers. It was her husband, and all the kids and everything like that. They had like 2 or 3 seasons, but I don't know why they never came back. So, you know, she's meeting with Jewel. And I can say, Jewel, on this particular episode, I'm like, she can have her own life coach type of show on Bravo. Because, I mean, she really, you know what I'm saying, listened to Heavenly and then gave Heavenly advice that I thought was sound and valid. You know, Heavenly brings up how she was in, you know, New Orleans, and how Simone took her to the voodoo shop. And honey, Simone, Jewel said, what? No, we don't want to be in the mess with them spirits that have, and I agree. I just think, even though people say, well, voodoo isn't always about something bad, it might not be, but I don't want a person who knows between the good and bad not like me and put the bad part on me. So, no, thank you. No, thank you. You know, So after Jules said, you can't be messing with them dark spirits, and I agree with that. But I agree that's dark spirits in any aspect, not just voodoo. If you want to pray darkly, don't pray for me darkly. Just don't do nothing dark to my soul. Leave me be. Jesus is my light, and He's everything. Okay. But no. Heavenly then says how because she took her to the voodoo shop and it was a whole thing where Simone was saying how she wasn't really walking the walk and how she wasn't perfect. She's like, I got so mad, I cussed her out. And Drew instantly said, you cussing her out was wrong. You can't do that. She said, when you get upset and you get hurt and you want to get someone, you use profanity. You curse at them and you go off. She was like, when you feel yourself getting that way, you need to just stop, take a breath, and don't respond. She's like, your response shouldn't be profanity. Like, you shouldn't want to. Her point was, if you are on this spiritual journey to be a better person, closer to God, you can't continue to do things and then say, I was mad, or I was upset. You have to at least stop cussing. Like, my mom and my sister do not cuss at all. Like, I'm the only cusser. Well, my brother cusses. But, I cuss or whatever. And my dad, he would cuss. But we don't cuss around my nephew. But I don't cuss around my mother or my sister. Or my nephew. I only cuss around my brother. But yeah, my mom, my sister do not cuss. They are very much so different from me. But we're all still the same or whatever. But even if my mom and my sister get upset, which they rarely do, they still don't cuss. So it's the thing of, I felt how Jules said, you can be upset and not have to use profanity because if you're in this walk with God. And I thought that was a cool thing to tell her. And she said, instead of retaliating, saying something real fast and coming back with a cuss word, just take a breath. She's like, matter of fact, take 2 minutes. And she was like, 2 minutes? Y'all long 2 minutes is? But 2 minutes sometimes give you enough time to just be calm. Whereas Heavenly is so used to just step back so quick, she said the first words to come to her mind was all cuss words. So, yeah. I feel like that was just good advice to give her. She also said how she apologized to Mariah, but how Mariah, she hadn't apologized to Mariah's mom. And she was saying, Miss Lucy sometimes is crazy, so, like, what if she do something crazy to me? And then Jules said, what I loved, God won't judge you off of what Miss Lucy do. I said, Jewel, look at you dropping jewels all up and through here, girl. I said, okay. I like that. Yes, I like the whole conversation. She also told Heavenly, you're very sweet, but the way you say things aren't. And it's true. I like that whole little saying or whatever. We see Simone's sister is visiting. Simone and her sister look just alike. I think that's so cute. I love when siblings look alike. So Simone goes into how hard her marriage is currently. Her and Cecil are having issues. And, says how they argue over the most simplest of things. And how they basically live in 2 different houses for the majority of the week or whatever. And her sister says how, before, when they was first dating together, like, they've been together like 20 years. She was like, y'all used to be inseparable. You would say, like, I ain't going anywhere without my husband. And he was the same way. She's like, y'all need to get back to that. She's like, y'all should not be apart so much. Y'all should at least be in the same house on the weekends. Because remember, the only reason they had 2 houses was because one house was closer to the boys' school, while the other house was closest to Simone's office. And sometimes in life you do have to, your kids might go to a school further out because it's better, and you can't control where your job is sometimes. So and I think in Atlanta everything is like far. So like here in Michigan, you can get anywhere in the surrounding cities in like 30 minutes. Like, I can get to Flint in 45 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So everything, even if it's like have a longer way, it don't take you long to get there. But I think in Atlanta, like, one city to the other city is like a far, in Georgia, I'm saying Atlanta like it's a state. In Georgia, some of the cities are very far away, even if the cities are, supposedly close. So, that makes sense. But however, they've let that taken advantage of that within their arguments, and they just kind of be separate. So I like how the sister said, like, y'all can't allow that to go. You know, Simone says, but he's so hostile, he's so angry, you know, it's just hard. And Church is so, like, you know, you just have to fight the negative with a positive. You know, sometimes if he's being negative or mean, it will be hard for him to stay that way if you're being nice. Because sometimes that's true. Sometimes if you and your husband, or you and your wife, or you and your boyfriend, or whatever, you and your girlfriend are upset with each other, when you're both upset, it's easy to both be upset. But it's kind of hard if you pissed off and they keep being nice. Like, eventually you just have to be nice. Like, I mean, it just kind of happens, because eventually they be like, why are you being so nice? You know, I'm mad at you. And it opens up a dialogue. And then hopefully things get fixed. So she told her, you know, kindness is the greatest strength. I'm like, they dropping all kind of jokes on here, okay? Lord Jesus. So Simone just says how, you know, it's hard because no one sees him when he's angry. Now, they showed a conversation between him and Simone where he was just saying, you know, we're going to talk about the real shit. We ain't going to be fake. You know, we don't spend enough time together. We don't communicate. I didn't see that as him being mean. I saw that as a couple were having a real conversation and one person got hype. But I'm guessing if that's what they showed on camera, what she could mean is, oh, he even worse if we really arguing. Because that was even an argument. So, you know, I can see it both ways, and how, again, we don't know what happened when we ain't there. But, you know, she was saying how, you know, I don't know if I can replace something mean, or I can't be nice when he's being mean to me. But I think she will eventually. So, you know, the sister says, you know, well, can you say he loves you or you love him? And she said that she don't know if he loves her, because you basically don't say it enough. The next thing we see is Dr. Jackie and Cecil meets up. And at first I'm like, what y'all meeting up for? Like, is you gonna talk about Simone and he gonna talk about Curtis? Because again, you know, Curtis is friends with Cecil. And, you know, because they've been friends for, you know, 10, 15 years and whatnot. So we see that she's meeting up with him because she knew that he had reached out to Curtis. And she said that's a good thing, because him and Curtis have been friends for like 15 years. And she said she would never ask him to not be Curtis's friend just because of what they're going through. And she says how she's now currently at a place where she can have a conversation with Curtis. Meaning, I was pissed the fuck off, and now I can hear out what it is he has to say. And she's like, you know, he's glad that she's in that space to be able to talk to him. And, you know, she says how he just keeps asking her, can he come back to show her how much she means to him? And she says the reason that she feels like she's in the place to hear him is because he is not blaming her for what he did. He's taking all the blame for what he did. A lot of people, when, you know, at first was came out that he had cheated, they kept saying, well, because Jackie was so busy, he cheated and she pushed him away, and he kept telling her that he needed her, and she didn't. So people tried to blame her. And sometimes it's easy for a person who cheats to say stuff like, well, you know, I was just lonely, you know, you weren't there, and, you know, I kept telling you I needed this, and you didn't give it to me, and you make it more about, well, this is why I did it, because it was because of you, versus I did it because of me. Like, I made the choice to do it, regardless of whatever else is on me. And she said that he has been admitting it was his fault. Not even his fault, but that he took accountability for his action, and I think that's a great thing. She does say, however, that she was like, you know, I have a limit of one. Like, I have one limit of this, meaning this is his one get out of jail free card for cheating. I won't tolerate it at all again. And, you know, she's like, I would never accept it again. And I feel like in a marriage, for some things, you can give them that one. You know what I'm saying? You can give them that one mistake to let them make, and you can take them back. Now, I don't think that mistake is murder. I don't think that mistake is rape. I don't think that mistake should be anything illegal. You know what I'm saying? Unless they like selling like a little bit of weed. I don't think selling weed is too bad. But I'm just joking. But you know what I'm saying? I don't think it's anything illegal. But like if you, I don't know, it's my husband. I mean, it just takes time to get over any kind of hurt. And I like how she took her time to get over it versus saying, you cheated, I hate you, all these 20 years together, how many years they were together, means nothing, I'm leaving. She took time to figure it out. And she's to a place now where she feels like she can at least have a conversation about forgiving her husband. Because she's like, as much as, you know, as mad as I am at him, I miss him. I think that's a real thing to go through, you know, to admit that when someone cheats on you or you get cheated on, the feelings don't go away. Yeah, you be mad and you be pissed off. And again, it depends on if a person is a cheater or if they cheated. It seems as if Curtis cheated. I don't think he's a serial cheater, meaning he out here just stopping and bopping with whoever. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he out there doing that. Or I hope he not out there doing that. So I think it's sometimes easier for a person to forgive one indiscretion versus continuing indiscretions, which is why she said, I got this one, he got this one, that's it. I don't have no more. If you do it again, I don't care how much it hurts me, I'm out. Deuces. So, you know, that was a good thing. She also says how, you know, she wants to talk to him in person because they've only been talking over the phone and stuff like that. Because, like, you know, you can, you know, kind of fake it over the phone because I can't feel your energy. You know what I'm saying? I can't see your face or whatever. But you can't fake good and bad energy. And that's completely true. You can't. She then brings up Simone's frustration to Cecil. And she just kind of tells Cecil, well, you know, Simone needs you to basically tell her that you love her. And that's the issue. I drank too much water. She's like, she just at a place where she needs to hear it. You know what I'm saying? She even if you do love her, she needs to hear you say it. You know, he says that, you know, for him it's different because he wasn't raised like that. Meaning he said he wasn't raised in a house where his mother and father told him or said, I love you a lot or whatever. So he said for him, he doesn't do it either. And the weird thing about it is I know people like that. It's so strange. But he said, cause like in my family, like before I talk to my mom every day. And when I talk to her every day, like every time we hang up the phone, all right, love you. All right, love you. If I'm in her presence, when I see my mom, I give her a hug and a kiss. When I leave, hug and a kiss, I love you. I did the same thing with my dad when he was alive. Even when I talk to my nephew, love you, my brother. You know what I'm saying? I do that with at least my immediate family. And when I'm in a relationship, if I do love a person, you know, I say it on a regular basis because I feel like you should let a person know that you love them. But I was raised in that kind of environment. Like I hear my mom, I would hear my mom and my dad tell each other they love each other. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like awkward to me. We would say it all the time. Hey, love you. You know what I'm saying? But he wasn't raised like that. So he says he now gets that he needs to vocalize to her that he loves her because he do love her. And I'm like, okay, that was cool. That was cool. Lord Jesus, Quad and Toya. So Quad go pick Toya up. And Toya like, where we going, girl? Where we going? And Quad says, we're going to look at some residences and stuff because I need some space because, you know, it's at my house is just crazy. I'm like, all right, Tamar. That wasn't nice. So as they're in the car, Dr. G called. Now, Dr. G called, and she's like, oh, that's him. I ain't answering the phone. Now, she just said on the episode last week that he don't call her. And then he said, I do call you and you don't answer the phone. Evidence. Because he's calling and she's saying, I ain't answering the phone. But you want him to call you, don't you? Call her quiet? Ain't that what you wanted? Okay. So you're like, girl, that's your husband. You need to answer the phone. So she answered the phone. And, you know, she just started saying how, what did she say? He trying to start, what did she say? She says he's calling to continue an argument. But regardless of whatever, it's your husband, answer the phone. You know, so she answered the phone. She's like, you know, I'm out right now. You know, I won't have time to cook, but we'll be home later. You know, Toya says hi. So he know Toya in the car. He knows someone's in the car. And he says, he says, I know you're not making dinner tonight, so you know what I'm saying? I was thinking about that. And then Toya looking like, what the fuck? What's going on here? You know, Quad then says, enjoy your night, Patty Batty. And I'm like, you called your husband Patty Batty? And she said it, and he heard her say it. She's like, all right, have a good night, Patty Batty. You see how petty he is? Girl, he is extra petty. And before he could respond, because he was about to say something, and she hung up on him. And so you're like, you hung up on him? And she was like, girl, I ain't got time to be arguing with him. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got time for that. Toya looked appalled, shocked, hurt, as if Eugene just hung up on her ass. And, you know, she's like, I thought, you know, they had like little small problems, you know, because everybody had little small problems. She's like, but you know, how based on how they talk to each other. And see, she didn't say based on how Dr. G talked to Quad. She said based on how they talking to each other, they have huge problems. They have big problems. And it's true. Because Quad saying to him, I ain't going to have time to cook. She said it with an attitude. So when he shot back, well, I don't even want cooking no way. So I wasn't thinking about that. It was the whole just stupid, you know, so Quad is not, you know, he trying to argue, you know what I'm saying? I'm not arguing with nobody. You know, if he call me back, I'll just block him. Again, Dr. G said, have you ever blocked my number, Quad? So we see she blocks his number when they have an argument, and she don't answer, or she blocks him from calling her. So I'm like, okay, so he was saying that for a reason. He was saying like if they get into an argument, she blocked his number, then he can't call her. But that's your husband. Girl, that's your husband. I'm like, Jesus. Toya then says how her mom told her, arguing is better than no communication. And I'm like, girl, that is so much the truth. You know, Quiet saying how their connection is so weak right now. But I'm like, it's probably weak because y'all both talking at each other. Y'all not talking to each other. And I think Quiet feel like whenever it's an argument, she just doesn't want to be involved. And sometimes you have to argue. Like, you shouldn't be arguing all the time at all. But every couple argues here and there. Sometimes arguing just gets all the kinks out. You know what I'm saying? Because eventually you learn how to argue and you get over things quicker. But, you know, that's what it is. So then we see Quad ain't looking for no damn house. Quad took Toya to pick up her new car. Now, I'm not a car person. I don't know cars. All I know is Malibus and Impalas, because I had a Malibu for years. Well, I had a few Malibus, and I got an Impala now. I don't know nothing about cars. Now, it looked to me like she had a Mercedes. I don't know if it was a Mercedes truck or something. I don't know what it was. It was something real, real fancy, okay? Something real, real fancy that my ass can't afford. She bought a new car, a new truck. It looked, at first, I thought it was a G-Wagon, but the emblem, I'm like, I thought it was a BMW emblem, but I'm like, is BMW and Mercedes the same thing? I don't know them luxury cars, so, you know, don't laugh at me. But she says it was her birthday gift to herself because she's been whatever. Then she said, okay, what's my dad? What's the total? The car man come and he said, all right, with everything, you know, all the bells and whistles, it's $170,500. This is what I have. This Toya like, girl, what? Quad is messy and petty simply because you brought, of all the friends, you brought Toya, who owe $170,000 to the IRS to show her that you just paid $170,000 for a car. Bruh, that's the equivalent of taking your fat ass friend to a salad bar. Bitch, I don't want no salad. I don't want to see this. Or taking your fat friend to the Ponderosa here in Michigan, where it's like a buffet and they on a diet. Don't take me to somewhere where I can't eat nothing there. I need some salads. You know what I'm saying? Why would you bring Toya there? And then when Toya said, girl, what? Toya, girl, get out of my business. You brought her there and asked the guy what the total was in front of her. Girl, bye. So from there, I'm like, I was like, Quad is messy. You know, she then said how she don't have to tell, you know, Gregory about it, that, you know, that was her purchase. Toya like, I will always talk to Eugene about our part. You know, we have joint whatever, you know, we have to discuss large purchases. And Quad like, girl, you know, I don't have to do that, you know what I'm saying? This is my money. This not his money. And I'm like, okay. She says like when I want to do things like this, I can do things like this. this whole scene was Quad trying to show America that she has money. To make Quad show America that Dr. G don't pay for her. That's what this was about, strictly. It had nothing to do with, I want a birthday gift. Because he said, I've taken care of you my whole life, Quad, then so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy a whole new truck and let them know how much I paid for it. Quad, you ain't fooling me at all. And I felt like it was very superficial to do it in front of Toya, whose husband is working working 2 jobs to pay off 170 grand. And you take her to get your car that costs 170. I would have been like, bitch, what you bring me for? You know what I'm saying? That's what I would have said. And my thing is, even if you brought me, you just had to let them say out loud how much the car costs. I would have felt some kind of way, point blank, period. You know, she then says at one point, you know, because she keeps saying, like, I don't have to tell him nothing. You know, he do his thing, I do mine. She said he bought something. And when he bought it, he didn't talk to her about it. He just brought it home. And she said, but I didn't care anyway. She was like, because he worked hard for his money and I do whatever with mine. And I'm like, okay, girl. She then said, if I could buy love for my husband, I would. But I can't buy love for my husband, so I just bought a car. Okay. We're going to let it go. I'm going to let it be. I'm like, I'm 30 minutes in and I'm not done yet. Damn it. Heavenly's son visits from college. He don't want to come to visit. And he is like there washing clothes. Heavenly think he probably got a girl up there giving him some coochie. Because she's like, I think he got somebody up there giving him something that I can't give him. It's probably true. But she do then say, you know, I want you to come home for the summer and like intern to work with the office to basically let him know how to earn $1, how to work hard, because his daddy keeps giving him money to buy new clothes and shoes or whatever. And she's like, I don't want him to ever think it's that easy that people just give you money. Like, he needs to know how to work hard. I'm like, okay, cool. What else? I'm trying to think what's going to go over this. Toya mom is in town. Her mom is really cute. Looks just like her. I'm like, okay. Let me see. The whole brunch at Mariah's house. Mariah had a brunch, a Mother's Day brunch for all the ladies. And she basically invited everybody. Quad ass didn't come. Quad supposedly in Miami for her birthday, per Toya. So she didn't want to have like everybody like squished up in her house the whole time. So she had the right idea to where people will come in from the front and they will be like outside on her in her front yard or what, not in the grass, like on the concrete part, for like refreshments or whatever. Then they would go in the house, and then they would, you know, have eat in the house, and then they would go out back or whatnot. It was very cute. It was very, very cute. You know, everyone came in, what am I looking at? Oh, everyone came in either white or yellow. It was very beautiful. It was very elegant. I loved it, honestly. We see Contessa is there, and she brought her nanny, Miss Renee. Miss Renee, around adults, is crazy. Like, she had some liquor in her, and she was extra, extra, extra. And you know what I'm saying? We found out that Contessa's mom passed away when she was 34. So, you know, Miss Renee is like her mother figure. So she brought her, you know what I'm saying, for that reason. But I think she extra, extra. But I think Miss Renee is the old woman in the neighborhood who everyone know is crazy as hell, and she say whatever she want to say. That's Miss Renee, but she's harmless. You know what I'm saying? That's what I get that she is. I also see that she's a drinker, and she already seemed a little bit tipsy. You know what I'm saying? Because she was telling them, like, yeah, I call Contessa. Sometimes I call her the black doctor bitch. I said, you gonna sit out in public? I mean, girl, And Contessa laughing, you know, Jackie and them laughed too. I guess they figured out that she was joking, but I mean, she was just a little bit tipsy, and she was just, you know, she was talking. So you see all the ladies, and they're either the yellow or the white. Toya's mom looked fantastic in her white ensemble. But then we see Mariah walk out, and she's in blue. And they was like, you know, leave it to Mariah to make sure that she stands out from everybody else, because she made it a requirement for everyone to wear those 2 colors, and then she was in a completely different color. And I assumed her mom would come out in a different color too, because it's a Mother's Day brunch. And the funny part was, when she came out the door, of course her dress got caught in the door. Girl, you gotta get your train together. And when Miss Lucy came out, she was also in all yellow. So I'm like, if anybody should be in a different color, it should be your mama. Like, that's who, you know what I'm saying, should be standing out. But, you know, Mariah's Mariah. You know, they go back and they go inside. The decor was beautiful. You know, it was a tent. It was beautiful placemats and dinner. It was really good, really elegant. It was what it was. We see Contessa's nanny, Miss Renee, is telling, you know, Miss Lucy, "Girl, you look good. You're a dark, a chocolate Barbie doll. This, you look good, and I'm just a nanny." You know what I'm saying? I'm only the nanny, but just because I'm a nanny and they're a doctor don't mean they're better than me. I'm like, what is she talking about? But Miss Renee was drunk. So everything that she said, she was drunk. At one point, she was yelling across the table to Contessa, like, "Contessa, I pulled the tag off the dress you bought me, girl. I didn't know I had a tag on it still." Contessa like, "Oh my God, that is just crazy." And, you know, Dr. Jackie, I'm like, "How do you deal with her on a regular basis?" She's like, "Well, I don't disrespect my elders." And me and Simone said, "You don't have to disrespect her, just drive her ass home." And they said, "Well, how is she, like, do she cuss around the kids too?" And she was like, "No, my kids, she's a completely different person." You know what I'm saying? So they did show like a video of her with the kids, and she was being extra loving. She said she's not around kids right now, so she's with adults, and she's doing adult things. I said, that's true. You know, how a person is, or when they're, how I am at work ain't how I am. Well, I am like this at work. I am. But some people aren't like that at work. Like, Simone ain't at work cussing people out. Heavenly, hopefully, ain't at work cussing people out. You know what I'm saying? You just have, it's separate. So, you know, it was. What else? I think that's really all. Is that all that really happened? You know, Jackie said how she spoke with Cecil. You know, Simone then says because of her speaking to Cecil that she's seen the difference in him and, you know, how they act or whatever. She did say, you know, "I wish he would say he loves me more. You know, I don't say it to him often either." But I'm like, if y'all both don't say it, then how either one of y'all mad about it? But I'm happy that she said, you know, since he spoke with Jackie, he has, she's noticed a change in him. I think that's great. You know what I'm saying? It's a step in the right direction. So then Toya then say, "Well, damn, Heavenly, can I talk to Damon?" Heavenly was like, "Hell no, bitch." I was like, "Damn, Heavenly." Oh, see, but again, didn't Jewel just tell you before you reply to somebody to take a minute and not cuss? She ain't listen at all. Mariah didn't give out some awards, which I thought was cute, but also weird and funny. You know what I'm saying? She gave Toya the stay-at-home mom award. But then when she gave her the award, she brought up, you know, me and Toya been through some things, and I think she's a great mother, and she does her job, you know, really well, blah, 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 blah. She then says, you know, even after everything we done been through, she has never said something bad about my mama. And of course, they pan over to Heavenly because Heavenly said something about her mama. But I'm like, why would you say that in Toya's presentation of her award? But then she gives Toya's award to Toya's mama because she was like, you know, it shows how she was raised. She, you know, don't say something against somebody's mama. So basically, you just said that Heavenly was raised wrong too. Okay, all right, Mariah. And that's again how people say Mariah will say she's over stuff, and then she'll still say stuff in different ways later. Girl, you really will. You really do. She then gave her mom an award, you know, and basically said, you know, no matter what nobody else say, we know how great you are. It was cute. It was fine. We then see, you know, Heavenly go try to apologize to Miss Lucy and say how she was sorry. You know, what she said was childish, it was unnecessary, and it wasn't meant for her. Honey, Miss Lucy said, "Heavenly, I can't forgive you right now because it wouldn't be godly." I said, "Where is this going?" And she said, "You know, I'm not over it. You know, it's gonna take some time for me to heal from it. So, you know, I can't feel you right now." And we said, "Well, okay, happy Mother's Day." And then they both walked. I'm looking like, what? But I mean, again, you can't apologize to a person and assume they're gonna just accept it and be like, "Okay, I'm over it, love you." You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna happen that way. And then the end of it was, Mariah had butterflies like in glass jars or whatever. So at the end of the evening, for people's moms who had passed away and what, you know, couldn't be here, they released the butterflies out into the air. It was really beautiful. And that is my whole review. I did not mean to be this long. I know I skipped some things, but, you know, I gotta do what I gotta do. But put your comments below. And I am about to watch either Bring It or marriage boot camp. I don't know which one, Lord Jesus. But thank you for tuning in. I am Jay Lee. This is Jaylee's Corner. Peace.